In a recent flare-up between tech mogul Elon Musk and Australian authorities, Musk has sharply criticized new Australian legislation aimed at curbing misinformation on social media. Labeling the proposed Australian laws as fascist, Musk's reaction has intensified a dispute that underscores broader tensions between global tech companies and national governments over digital content regulation. Australia's proposed legislation seeks to address the rampant spread of misinformation and harmful content online. Under the new rules, social media platforms like Musk's X could face fines of up to 5% of their annual turnover if they fail to manage and moderate misleading or dangerous content effectively. This move is part of a broader effort by the Australian government to enhance online safety and accountability, particularly concerning the spread of scams, deepfakes, and other forms of malicious content.
Digital platforms need to step up to protect Australian users from the threat of seriously harmful mis- and disinformation online. This bill seeks to strengthen the voluntary code by providing a regulatory backstop. The bill will empower the ACMA to review the effectiveness of digital platform systems and processes and will improve transparency about measures platforms have in place to protect Australians from mis- and disinformation on their services.
Musk's response to these measures has been particularly vehement. Reacting to a post about the legislation, Musk labelled the Australian government as fascists, a term that has sparked considerable backlash. Australian Federal Minister Bill Shorten criticised Musk for what he perceives as a double standard on free speech, suggesting that Musk champions free speech when it aligns with his commercial interests, but opposes regulation when it does not. Assistant Treasurer Stephen Jones also dismissed Musk's comments as crackpot stuff, defending the legislation as a necessary step to protect Australians from digital harm. The new laws grant Australia's communications watchdog the authority to monitor and regulate social media content more stringently. If self-regulation by platforms like X fails, the watchdog can impose industry codes of conduct and establish new standards. This legislation aims to counteract issues such as scam content, deepfakes, and even violent imagery, which have plagued digital platforms and caused significant societal harm. This clash is not Musk's first confrontation with Australian authorities. Earlier in the year, the E-Safety Commissioner issued a directive to X to remove graphic footage of violent incidents, including a high-profile stabbing in Sydney. X initially resisted this order, arguing that it was beyond the scope of the E-Safety Commissioner's legal powers and challenged the requirement in court. This resistance led to a substantial fine and further legal disputes, which continue to unfold. Musk's criticism of Australian regulations highlights a growing friction between tech giants and governments globally, as authorities seek to impose stricter controls on online content while tech companies push back against what they see as overreach. As these legal battles continue, the debate over the balance between free speech and online safety remain as contentious as ever. Bureau Report, India Today Global.